Hi guys, what's up? Okay, I'm back. So today I have something very interesting for you guys. Okay, so now this is a geopolitical risk and resilience system. So what this thing does is it analyzes what's going on globally in the world and correlates it to your location in what should do your industry. Okay, so it analyzes things like currency and what's currently happening in the world, the war, the Ukraine war, and things like the BRICS, which Russia, South Africa, and other countries are formed, and that will affect you and your business. Okay, so this system does a lot. Okay, it analyzes and also it also gives guidance. Okay, so you can check the link in the description. You can copy the prompt and you can follow along. Okay, so this is a very robust system. Okay, this works. No human can reach the level of accuracy this has. Okay, because it analyzes everything in real time and gives you real time response. Okay, so let me just initialize it. Okay, so as you can see, you have to first set up your profile. You have to set up your profile like here. So which is work line and industry, primary income, currency, country of residence, total debt, foreign real estate. That's if you have invested in other countries. Okay, as you can see, why it's asking that, it's a geopolitical risk and resilience system. Okay, so let me answer these questions and then I show you how robust this system is. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a vague response. I'm just going to say, for instance, I'm going to say I'm a business owner. Okay, so for number one, I'm going to say I'm a business owner. And then for number two, the currency is I'm in Zambia, so I'm going to say it's the Zambian kwacha. The Zambian kwacha. And then okay, so Zambian kwacha, the country of residence is Zambia, of course. Debt of none. And then total debt is none. Okay, and then foreign real estate is at, I'm going to say 0%. Okay, so you can include as much details as you want in this profile. Okay, what business you do. Let's say here I'm just vague saying I'm a business owner, but you can also state what kind of business you do. Okay, so this is just for demonstration purposes, that's why I'm just being vague with it. Okay, so now this has a lot of advantages. It's more like it gives you a head start against anyone who's not using it, because it in a world characterized by things like trade wars, currency manipulation, and increasing geopolitical instability, this system is uniquely designed to react to non-traditional systematic risks rather. Okay, so now so as you can see here, it's now saying to ensure I have 100% correct before we begin the analysis, please confirm the following profile. So this is the profile. like I said. So work industry, I'm a business owner. Primary currency, which is Zambian kwacha. Country of residence is Zambia. Debt, which is none. And foreign real estate, which is at 0. Okay, and then clarification. So it's a clarification of intent. Okay, you provided your profile, but I still need to know your primary goal for this session. Rather, are you looking to assess the general risk of holding assets in Zambia, or are you looking for a specific hedging strategies, e.g. protecting against devaluation? Okay, so now here I'm going to give it a task to say what I want to do. Okay, so this system, the way I designed and built it, is it gives you personalized actionable advice. Okay, it moves beyond generic risk tolerance. Okay, so what it does, it incorporates granular user data, like here, as you can see, the granular user data here is workline industry, primary income. So this is data which is very important, like for it to give you a personalized actionable advice. Okay, so now let's say I want to find out something in terms of currency, right? I'm going to ask it what would I like to find out. Okay, so I'm going to say here, this is what I'm going to say. So I'm going to say looking at the current state of things. Okay, looking at the current state of things in Zambia. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to analyze like the current state of things in Zambia and the world, and where things will be, and how as a business owner would I need to prepare so that I'm on the safe side. Okay, so would it be wise? So here I'm trying to make an inquiry on the currency. As you know, the dollar is depreciating because it's off the gold stand. So which currency would be wise to invest my money in? Okay, because if I invest in the dollar, there's a high risk that it might lose interest in, I might lose out. Okay, so here, this is the task we're going to give it. Okay, so would it be wise to invest in the dollar, or should I invest in other currencies? So I'm going to say, or should I, okay, invest in other currency? If so, which one? So now what it's going to do is it's going to go on the internet. In the way I designed the system, it will to go on the internet, and it will look at all the data which is there with the current happening, what's happening in the world, everything, and then it comes up, it gathers all that data, and then it analyzes that data, and then gives you a response to say, okay, based on what is happening currently, this is what you can do, or what is likely going to happen. Okay, so let's see what it's saying. So as you can see, to proceed, please provide a precise recommendation I need throughout this request through correct analysis. Okay, so here it's saying which route should it go. Should it go here? The first one is geo-financial risk. Okay, geo-financial risk is based for understanding the currency vulnerability of the Zambian kwacha. What it does, it calculates a vulnerability score for the Zambian kwacha based on inflation, reserves, and global micro trends. Output a clear risk score between 0 and 100 rather, why the currency might hold or lose value. Okay, so this is the first option. And then the second option is scenario modeling and prediction. So based for what if. So this option is, if I select this option, it's telling me that it's going to give me a plan on how to go about things. Okay, so it's saying what it does, it simulates specific events, e.g. copper price crash, US dollar spike, to see how my current net worth would change. Output, so the output is going to be a projected financial impact on my specific profile. As you remember, I gave it the profile here on top, which is I'm a business owner, I'm in Zambia, blah blah blah. Okay, so now the third option here is it's going to give a perspective. Okay, so which is a multi asset recommendations. So here this option is based for rather getting the answer to which one. So which one? So skips the deep math explanation and goes straight to suggesting specific hedges, e.g. whether is to convert to US dollars or gold, and business mitigation. So here the output is going to be a tailored action plan. And then the fourth option here is going to, it's saying there is a multimodal geopolitical analysis, so which is based for analyzing soft data and news. Okay, so what it does, it analyzes the current sentiment, election news, or trade deals to predict stability. So as you can see here, you're going to choose which option you're going to go for. Okay, so here let me say I'm just going to go with option 4. Okay, so option 4 is the one I'm going to go for, which is okay, so here I've selected option 4, which is geopolitical analysis. Okay, so to kick off this assessment, this specialized module analyzes non-traditional data like sentiment, trade flows, diplomatic activity to quantify system risk. Okay, so here saying agent role. So given the profile, so it's given a profile, which is the profile I gave it earlier to start with. To simulate the non-traditional data analysis, I need a specific immediate focus area. Okay, so here it's saying to say which focus area should it choose. Okay, so please choose one of the following specific topics for in-depth sentiment and risk pattern analysis. So here is the first one is Zambia, China-Zambia strategic relations. Focus on the sentiment and risk patterns around the recent high-level diplomatic visits and the impact of the ongoing restructuring processes. Okay, so this is real-time. So this is real-time information. As you can see here, it has even stated the sources. So it's looking at what's currently happening. So like here, the first one, which is the China-Zambia strategic relations. So between China and Zambia, there have been relations with the government of Zambia and China have been signing MOU. So how would that affect me as a business owner? So if I choose this one, the first option, it's now going to give me advice or give me what to do, or how I'll get affected, and how I need to align myself so that I benefit from these agreements that's going on between the two countries. Okay, so the second one is 2026 election sentiment. So what this option does is that it focuses on the social media and news sentiment regarding the current government performance, particularly concerning the cost of living and drought measurement. So this is for Zambia. As you know, we are experiencing droughts. Okay, so the third option is global copper price demand and shock. So what this option focuses on is focus on the latest global manufacturing sentiment, which is US, EU, in China to forecast the risk to Zambia's primary export earnings. So for instance, let me just go with option 3. So as you can see, so let's see the analysis based on option 3. So here it said agent approaches a model analysis, stimulated output. Okay, so it's saying based on a simulated analysis of global sentiment, trade data, and the geopolitical trends related to strategic minerals, here is a quantified systematic risk. Okay, so it's saying so the first one is geopolitical instability, which is the score is 75% out of 100, which is high systematic risk. Okay, so here it's saying this risk score is driven by extreme dependency on copper export, which makes the country an acute focal point for shift in global demands. Okay, so let me now, so these are just outputting responses, right? Just like a regular large language model. So now let me now give it something where I need its opinion based on my profile. Okay, and what would be the best thing to do? What would be the best thing to do? Okay, so now here I'm just going to say, for instance, I'm going to say my business. So here I just don't want generic responses. I want a clear and concise response which tells me what's the best thing to do. Okay, so here I'm going to say my business sells electronic devices like phones. Okay, so I'm just going to say phones and computers, right? So let's assume I have a business which sells phones and computers. So here I'm going to ask it to say what's so I'm going to ask it to say what's the best way forward, okay, looking at the current things and events, okay, if I'm to survive. Okay, if I'm to survive, so how would a business owner who sells electronic devices like phones be able to survive if things continue in the current state they are in? Let's see what's going to say. Okay, okay, so here it's saying that clarifies your immediate challenge as a business owner dealing with imported electronic phones and computers. You are directly exposed to high currency volatility. We just analyzed your business is operating at a critical intersection of geopolitical risk, which is copper demand, and local currency risk. Okay, so now, so here, as you can see, so here it said I'm now executing the geo, FX, and economist and analysis using the current national macro profile. As you remember, if we just to go about here on top, the way I built this automation, as you can see from the options it gave, is it has 3 modes. Okay, there's the first one is the financial. So the first one here, so the first one is the financial risk assessment. Okay, and then the second one is the scenario modeling and prediction. Okay, We go to the third one, which is the perspective multi-asset recommendations, and then finally the last one is the multimodal. Okay, so amongst those 4 options here, as you can see, it's saying it's executing rather a geo and microeconomics economist, which is analysis using the current profile. Current profile, if you remember, is here, okay, which is, we said we're a business owner, earning money in Zambian kwacha, residence is Zambia, total debt currency, which is none, foreign real estate, which is 0. So based on that and what's currently happening in the world, and us being a business owner which sells electronic devices like computers, what would be the best way forward? So here now, here is the response. So here it's saying local geo FX vulnerability score is at 88%, which is extremely high. This score is calculated by cross-referencing, which is our first score is 75%. So here this 75% is the cross-referencing of the country, which is Zambia, to the world. It is at, as you can see here, 75%. Okay, geopolitical instability due to copper dependency. Okay, so now here the first thing here, it's saying the primary drivers of your vulnerability is, the first one here is saying cash push inflation exposure. Okay, so it's saying you purchase inventory in foreign currency like USD RMB but sell in Zambian kwacha. Any depreciation of the kwacha directly and instantly increases your cost of goods sold, okay, and transportation. So this severely compresses your profit margins and requires constant and popular price hikes to survive. Okay, so the second one here is saying import dependency. Electronics are non-sustainable imports. Unlike a farm that can sell food locally, you cannot easily find a local Zambian kwacha price alternative for the latest phones or computers. This creates a perpetual demand for foreign currency that you must meet. Okay, so the third one is limited hedging, which is small and medium enterprises, SMEs in Zambia, often have limited access to sophisticated foreign exchange hedging instruments, leaving you highly vulnerable to market shocks. So now, translation into perspective and strategy. Now here it's now starting to give us perspective and strategy on how to go about this after we've now analyzed and familiarized ourselves with what's going on globally. Okay, so here it's saying you asked for the best way to survive. This requires an action plan, which is the function of the final advisory mode. So the next step, personalized resilience advice. Okay, so here saying this system is now transitioning to role perspective advisor to generate a personalized multi-asset class recommendations for survival and resilience. So it's saying now, it wants us to specify what advice it would like first. As you can see, it's saying what specific advice would you like first. Okay, is it the on currency hedge, business mitigation strategy, property and real asset advice? Okay, so it's asking which advice would you like first. So let's start with the first one, since I can start with the first one, or let's just go with the second one. Let's see how it will advise. Okay, so we've chosen the second option here, and the second option is business mitigation. Here, second option is business mitigation strategy, which focuses on operational changes for your electronics business to reduce FX exposure and maintain competitiveness. So now let's see what he is saying. So here it's saying business mitigation strategy report to vulnerability score, which is very high, which is at 80%. Okay, so it's saying absolutely right to ask to seek operational strategies for your electronics import business given your extreme vulnerability. As you can see, it is at 80%. The goal must be to aggressively decouple your cost of goods sold. Okay, so here it's saying here's the personalized 3-pillar mitigation strategy to reduce our FX exposure and ensure that we survivability. Okay, so here saying pillar 1, which is operational hedging, reduce FX demand. So here it's saying under pillar 1, the most effective way to hedge is reduce your transaction exposure by matching your foreign currency FX inflows. Okay, so let's see the strategy. So the options here. So the first option is partial localization. Okay, so it's saying actionable. So we have strategy. Here we have strategy. We have actionable step for electronics importer and the rationale. Okay, so now here it's saying outsource services locally. So here it's saying stop importing fully assembled computers phones if possible. Instead import components, e.g. motherboard, screens, and perform final assembly, software installation, branding, or servicing in Zambia. So what's the rationale behind this strategy? Here it said wages, assembly cost, and servicing fees will be paid in Zambian kwacha. So here it's saying instead of importing goods which are fully assembled together, which come with high taxes, like let's say you import a car, they're going to tax you on that car, which is going to be very high, the tax. But if you were to import different, if I to import the car, the same car in parts, okay, let's say you import parts for a car, for 5 cars, and then you assemble them right here in Zambia. Yet saying it will reduce on servicing fees. Okay, servicing fees, which are the assembly and other stuffs. Okay, so now this, remember, it's an option. So here it's saying option A. This is if you have skilled labor, you'll be able to do this, and this will reduce your import costs. Okay, so that's the first strategy it's saying it's proposing. So let's go to the second one here, which is B, said stock management. Okay, so here it's saying increase inventory buffer. So here it's saying maintain a 3 to 6 month supply for popular high margin items when the kwacha temporary strengthens, often after a major copper sales or policy intervention. Bulk buy inventory to lock a favorable exchange rate. So what's the rationale? So here it's saying the rationale is this turns foreign exchange risk into inventory risk, which is generally easier to manage for essential goods. So it's saying once the kwacha appreciates, we've seen that the kwacha has appreciated compared to the last, let's say, 2 to 3 months. We buy a lot of stock so that it's easier to manage because we have inventory. So even if the kwacha depreciates, we still have inventory, meaning we won't be affected that much. Okay, so that's the second strategy, which is stock management. Okay, the second option. Okay, so now the third option here is strategic supply diversification. So here it's saying diversify sourcing currency. While many electronics are priced in dollars, investigate sourcing from manufacturers or middlemen who invoice in different race correlated currencies, okay, which is RMB or EUR. So what's the rationale? So the rationale here is saying losses in one currency like the US dollar may offset gains in another. Okay, this spreads the risk across multiple currency zones. Okay, so that's, remember, this is just the first pillar, okay, of the first pillar out of the 3 pillar mitigation strategy, and within it we have about how many? 3 options. So let's go to the second option. Okay, so the second pillar, which is financial pricing and defense. Okay, so he said these strategies focus on protecting your profit margin from transaction risk inherent in your import model. Okay, so let's see the options we have here. The first option is foreign currency accounts. Okay, so actionable step here say maintain a USD FCA. Use your bank to hold a portion of your Zambian kwacha in US dollars account. Pay international suppliers directly from this account. So what's the rationale? The rationale is it creates a natural hedge which manages inflows and outflows and allows you to delay Zambian kwacha conversion until the rate is more favorable. Okay, this is commonly done in businesses. Okay, so let's go to the second option in our second pillar. So it's saying dynamic and geo pricing. So it's saying implement a dynamic pricing model, which is review and adjust your Zambian kwacha retail prices weekly or even daily for large B2B, which is business to business sales. So here it's saying for large business to business sales, you can adjust your prices weekly, which is very possible. Yeah, for business to business sales. Okay, quote prices in USD with an immediate Zambian kwacha conversion option using the bank spot rate. Okay, so what's the rationale? The rationale here it's saying it shifts the transaction risk to the customer and prevents your profit margin from being erased by sudden Zambian kwacha depreciation. Yeah. Okay, so the third option here is hedging instruments. Okay, which is the action here is explore forward contracts. Speak to your Zambian commercial bank FX about using forward contracts. This locks in an exchange rate today for a large import payment due in 30 to 90 days. So what's the rationale? This eliminates the uncertainty for major inventory purchases and is a standard tool for reducing unpredictability in financial reporting. Okay, so now let's go to our last and final pillar. So you're saying the long-term survival strategy is to earn revenue in the currency you spend. So you're saying target FX earning plans, aggressively market your business phones, especially IT services to FX earning entities within Zambia. This includes mining companies. Okay, so that's the third pillar. Okay, so here now it's saying getting rule check rather high impact action. The action of maintaining a USD FCA rather or bulk buying inventory directly involves allocating a significant portion of your working capital, potentially more than 10% rather of your business net worth. Okay, so here it's saying, shall I flag this for human approval check? This ensures you're fully aware of the cash flow. Yeah, so this is saying, here it's saying, shall I, it is asking a question to say, should it flag this for human approval, which is very right because it doesn't know cash flow. But if you have your cash flow with you, your business cash flow, you can just add it here and then it will analyze and then it will give you advice on that. So this is the first advice. So here now it's saying, can I Would you like me now to move to the final summary, or would you like me to examine option 1, which is currency hedge, option 3, which is property advice? Okay, remember what I said, this is a very robust automation. Okay, it has many use cases. You can interact with it like a financial analyst or financial advisor, or even as a CFO. It can do, or it can how can I say this? It can adequately do all those things that the CFO, the financial analyst, and these other people who are in the financial sector do for you. This automation right here, it can do it for you. Okay, if you want, what you can do is you can go to your financial analyst and see what they'll give you and what this gives you, and you'll see which one is better. But I'll guarantee you this one is better, because as you can see, what we are doing here is we are comparing with real-time data in the aggregate of what's going on all around the world in real time right now. Okay, but if you went to your typical financial advisor, they will advise you, but the advice they'll give you will be based on the limited knowledge they have. But this has almost access to everything that's going on in the world right now. Okay, so it's better in that sense than a human. And also the other thing is explainability and audibility. And what I mean by that is every recommendation in this, as you can see, is accompanied by 3 drivers, which is very useful. Okay, and these 3 drivers are counterfactual condition. Okay, and then, so as you can see, this automation has many advantages compared to a human. Okay, the other thing is the speed and frequency. As you can see, we are analyzing what's going on in the world in real time right now. Okay, we don't have to wait for 2 days, when if things to change tomorrow, and we come back to this automation to give us what currently on what's happening right now. Okay, for example, you can ask it to say, looking at what's happening in between Russia and Ukraine, how does that affect me? Okay, or what's happening between the trade wars which are going on between China and America? What's the best way to go about it? Okay, let's ask it that. Okay, so we're going to say, looking at the China America trade wars, what's the best course of action? Okay, so here I'm going to say, looking at the China and America trade wars, what's the best way forward? So as you are going to see here, it's going to give us real-time advice or insights based on what's happening currently. What's the best way forward? Okay, so as you can see, we moved away from the dollar and everything else. Now we are looking at the trade wars, which is happening between China and America. So here it's saying, this is an essential question for a Zambian business relying on imports. The US-China trade wars is not a distant geopolitical event. It is a direct and permanent threat to your business model, because it introduces a supply chain uncertainty and price volatility into the very goods you sell. Okay, so it's saying the core problem for electronics business is, the first one is trade conflict increases costs and disrupts the Chinese manufacturing sector. Zambia's economy heavily depend on Chinese demand for copper. Okay, as you can see, this is real-time data analysis. Okay, and then the other one is your business must source in foreign currency but relies on Zambian kwacha stability, which is highly linked to US dollar China dynamics. So here it's saying the best way forward is a dual strategy focusing on de-risking the supply chain and leveraging Zambia's geopolitical neutrality. So here it's saying the first strategy is de-risk your electronic supply chain, mitigate tariff risk. So it's saying the global electronics value chain is one of the most valuable sectors to US and China tensions. Your survival depends on building alternative procurement routes that insulate you from the future tariffs escalations and semiconductor restrictions. As you can see, right, like I said, it gives you, the way I designed it, it goes out there and looks at what's happening currently in the world and gives you an accurate feedback. So as you can see, the most crucial part of the China-America trade war is semiconductor restrictions. They are restricting who manufactures these semiconductors, and also China is also restricting on the rare earth minerals which they have, okay, which are essential for manufacturing things like phones. Okay, so it's saying source diversification, reduce dependency on Chinese final assembly. What difficult for electronics, start sourcing from manufacturers in Asian countries, e.g. Vietnam, Malaysia, Thailand or India. Okay, so you can see this, it's very adaptable and it gives you accurate information based on what you want to do, and it's not biased to one thing. Okay, so this is I can't, if I was trying to explain the capabilities, the full capabilities of everything this automation can do, it will take hours, honestly, because it's the way I designed it, it's very robust and in-depth, and it's adaptable to what you are seeking. Okay, and it gives you accurate analysis and information which is non-biased. Okay, yeah, so you can check the link in the description and you can interact with this automation. It's really a game changer. Okay, with this automation right here, there's no need for you to start paying for financial advice or these other services you pay for such things. Okay, because most of those, they give you burst, and sometimes they give you opinions or advice from an informed from a place of being uninformed, where they don't really know how such things may affect you directly. Okay, because no human being can have access to all the information in the world all the time, but this automation right here has access to the information in the world all the time. Okay, so that's one of the benefits of using this. Okay, so tell me what you think. The link for the automation prompt is in the description. All right.